Don't ask me why. This is the setup. I don't know. I want it to be interesting. What? Oh, goodness. Bear child. Rob, is that you? Okay. I wanted to do something this way today, but and this situation wasn't happening. So now we have this, but this is here. So my laptop is here instead of my laptop being here. Instead of you being here, you're here. Well, I guess technically you're here. I'm here. Oh. It's interesting that the birds is here. I was walking in the kitchen today and I looked out the window and there was a bird walking in the yard and then it just stopped. It literally stopped and sat there for about 3 to 5 minutes. I know because I watched it. I'm like, why is there a bird just lying in the yard? Like in the grass, just sitting there. And then eventually there was a bird on the other side of the fence that was walking by and then it flew off. I was like, okay, because that's interesting. Eve, how? What are you talking about? Hi, Eve. Hi, Sandra. I don't know. I'm doing well. And there's an air of momentum. Ooh. The Sun and the Birds. The Sun is the card that came out. I'm doing well. I'm doing well. Right? I'm well, right? I am. It's just it's time again, or it's still time. And there are some things that I'm kind of nervous about. Not really nervous, but I am. But I'm excited at the same time. I was talking with my mom. Is that the sun? Is this the sun that was at the top of the deck? I'm actually using Lenormands today because I saw you use Lenormands. I was like, I want to use my Lenormands. I think that's the sun again. 31. Was that the sun? Did I already shuffle it? I already shuffled it. Excuse me. You were just about to go live? Oh, well, you can still go live because I don't know what I'm doing. Because I like, who is this? The Scythe. Actually, this card was behind one of the cards. I have the Tarot of Dreams, and I was flipping through this deck, and I'm like, not scared, but I'm like, okay, I don't know about that. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see. Kind of nervous. I guess there's a lot. Not a lot. It's just it's time, but I'm nervous. But that's fine. The coffin. I actually had a dream one time that someone that you know, both of you, I know both of you know this individual, but I will choose to make them anonymous, was in a shop in Egypt. And there were a lot of old things, and that person had a tuning fork, I think. And they were using the tuning fork to, like a divining rod, basically. And it led them to this coffin. And it's like they put the tuning fork on the coffin and hit it. It resonated with the coffin. And then there was like smoke that was coming out of the mouth of the sarcophagus. And then it was like there was this lady, this naked lady, very like elven looking, like very magical looking. And she was there and she was like, I don't know. It was, I don't fully remember the dream. I'm pretty sure I recorded it. I can't remember if she was surprised to see us seeing her. I know she didn't have any clothes and she was like, my body is gorgeous, isn't it? And I was like, yeah, it is. What's happening? It's 1:11 there. Oh snap, what time is it here? 12:11? I don't know where my phone is. Oh, here it is. It's 12:12. What? Event will. One second. I'll be back. Oh my goodness, the acrobatics that must be performed. It's fine. Hey Steph, how you doing? Hello, Steph. Oh snap, it's a kid's cat. What's up? How you doing, Kirsty? I actually thought of you. I was like, oh, I'm going live like fairly early. It's not midnight in the UK. Oh, the Do You Believe in Magic Collective? Ouch, that hurt. Happy Father's Day to the fathers. I don't know if we have any, but if you're a father, happy Father's Day. If you are a mother that also had to be a father, happy Father's Day. I am back. It is me. It's gonna be a profile. This is gonna be a profile. Oh, I should have did this as a whole thing. This is gonna be a profile reading. We're gonna see something from one side. Sometimes it might be based on. Sometimes it might not be. Oh, if I could breathe. Interesting. I also pulled the. Did I put it back? I pulled the Earth Mystical Shaman Oracle cards. I pulled the Mystical Shaman Oracle cards, and I was like, "Oof, I don't know if I can read these." And so I put it back. I was like, maybe not, but if I'm gonna read the Dreams of Gaia, I might as well. Is this the Clover? This is my journey buddy. I talked to my journey buddy yesterday. The Clover is my journey buddy because she always finds 4-leaf clovers. And she was telling me about where she is in her experience right now and what her experience means for her, and who she is and how it is for her to interact with the world. She is a generator, her human design. And the clouds, birds in the sky. That's what I like to see. I can fly twice as high. Ooh. So with the book and the letter at the bottom of the deck, not only is it 2627, it feels like it's a page out of the book. And especially with the clouds, it's like it's not. You are mother, father. I was in oh, this isn't even on live chat. I saw a card. I was looking for Father's Day cards yesterday. And I saw one that said mother. I was like, oh, is this a card for mothers that were also fathers? But then as I read it, it said Happy Mother's Day. And I was like, oh, okay, that's not the case. But it would have been really cool if it was. I'm going to try to make this a little bigger so I can read. Oh, wait, I could like literally pop out the chat. That is a thing that I can do. That helps? Question mark. Sort of. I could also do. I was gonna say I could put my iPad up and put the chat on my iPad, but because then I could put it here, and I could be looking in the. I'm gonna stay in profile. I could do this. I could cheat a little bit more, so I'm facing more towards the camera. Excuse me. I'm sorry. A cat dad gift? He's not your daddy. Oof. I love that. Just finished work. Father's Day there too. Oh, snap. Because I know Mother's Day was different. Sorry, I don't know what that was. I'm a weirdo. It's fine. I am not of this planet. I am from the stars. Crossroads. Oof, call me out. Crossroads. Is this the tree and the compass? I said call me out because this reminds me of the making choices or making a choice card in the Oracle Map of Destiny and the cards I used when I did the self read and making a choice came out. But then there's the tree and the compass. Interesting. And the storks at the bottom. I'm literally just trying to shuffle this deck. I'm not even like using it right now. But cards keep coming out. If I still have excuse me, Le Woman, Le Womana, with the birds at the bottom of the deck. And the clock behind the birds. And the sun is behind that. Why does it 11, 12, 10 numerologically? It feels like to go to the store. Well, if there's something you need at the store and you go, you'll have it. I don't know how extenuating, not extenuating, is it? Extensive, maybe? I don't know how exhausting the trip would be, how much energy you have to exert to go. Excuse me. I feel like I was not yawning this much before this happened. But it feels like the woman is coming back. I don't know if divine feminine energy is coming back. I don't know who this is, but with the return of it to this nest, it's like time starts again. Because in the birds, like it's missing the clock faces, but in the clock, like they're all there. So it feels like time is going to resume. Time on something. Maybe the sun will start moving again. Because, like, we're hurtling through space with the sun, right? The sun is moving through the universe. Our galaxy is moving through the universe. And so it's like wherever the sun is, that's where our solar system is. And I don't know if it's been in a particularly rough, like cosmic wind, intergalactic forces, space. Don't know. Interesting. So I got those two shuffled. I also have Oh my goodness. Ugh. You went yesterday to Walmart mid-afternoon. It was a nightmare. Was everybody out for Father's Day? I believe. Did I put it back? Did I put that deck back? Yeah, I did, and I grabbed this one. I was going to use this one. That's why. I guess no mystical shaman oracle cards. I was just like, I don't know. The Earthkeeper came out, and Corn was on the bottom of the deck, and I was like, I don't know how to read this deck, so I put it back. This was the second deck I got, but I didn't connect with it immediately. I didn't connect with this deck until I took it like outside of my room. And I used it for like other people. And then one day it just started to click. Excuse me. Good luck out there, Steph. Who is this? The Star, the Hierophant, the Knight of Pentacles, and the Nine of Swords. This is interesting. It feels like there's some kind of, I guess I'll say cosmic alignment. It feels like there's something happening up here. And the Hierophant, as he's like pointing up, words, it's like he's trying to describe down here what's happening up here. Like that. He's got the key of the sun and the key of the moon. But with the Knight of Pentacles and the Nine of Swords, it feels like we reach the limitations of our understanding. It's like because we understand life on Earth and the sun and the moon from our perspective, we try to put that same, it's like we try to project that same perspective onto this constellation of stars out here. And if things work the same, then that's great. We'll have a very good understanding. But if things are different, it won't be. I feel like things are different because our understanding sort of gets us a Nine of Swords after that. Who's at the bottom of the deck? The shadow side. With the Nine of Wands behind that. It's getting ready to storm. What? No. But now you get great messages with it. Okay. I literally have the Dolly deck right here, and I'm like, absolutely not. Not even an option. I'm not even entertaining the Dolly deck. Ooh, my eye just twitched hard. No. Dolly, I'm like, wait. Just for funsies, since I have it out. Let's see. My friend said the power went out in her place for a few days. I was like, oh my gosh. And she's not even in like Texas or California. Oof. Dolly Tarot, you got something to say about that Hierophant and the Star. Can you tell us, would Dolly energy be able to like get us there? Or like what's happening? Let's see. Oof. And it's so wide. Let me release. Let me do my best to let go of all of the. This deck don't make absolutely no sense to me, and try to open myself to being able to understand. Let me connect with the energies. Sleep. Oop. The Empress is the card that came out. The Three of Pentacles is on the bottom of the deck. Let me put my glasses on. Because immediately I think of the clouds. What came out with the clouds? I don't remember. It was the page in the book. That's what it was. It was the clouds and then the book, and behind the book was the letter. And it was this energy. It was almost like, because we're not getting the full story, it's either like something isn't necessarily, who is this? The lovers. The lovers just chilling. Okay. I look down and I see a card from this deck. It's the lovers. Um it's almost like if we start reading in the middle, we might not. It's like we don't know anything. And it's like if I pick up this book, I am going to pick up this book. And Bixby is going to give me a number between 1 and 700. I don't know how many pages are in this book. Hi, Bixby. Choose a number between 1 and 700.
Running some quick calculations. Drum roll, please. Your number is 514.
514. Why do I love that Bixby actually gave me a drum roll? Siri don't give no drum rolls. 514. This book only has 491 pages. Oof. 514. Let's do 415. Since it's the clouds, we can mix it up a little bit. We'll do 415 and just 415. Paperwing giving the left sword to Sabriel. She sheathed it, but it was a bad fit. Another reminder of loss. I'd better get the books too. The books? The book? What? Synchronicity, baby. She said, bending in to retrieve them from the cockpit. The 2 charter magic books were fine, untouched by snow, but the Book of the Dead seemed wet. When Sabriel pulled it out, she found it wasn't snow wet. Beads of dark, thick blood were welling up out of its cover. Silently, Sabriel wiped it on the hard crust of the snow, leaving a livid mark. Then she tucked the books away in the pockets of her coat. Why? Why was the book like that? Asked Touchstone, trying and almost succeeding to sound curious rather than afraid. I think it's reacting to the presence of many deaths, Sabriel replied. There is great potential here for the dead to rise. This is a very weak point. Shh! Touchstone interrupted her, pointing towards the wall. Shapes, dark against the snow, were moving in an extended line towards them at a deliberate, steady pace. They carried bows and spears, and Sabriel, at least, recognized the rifles slung across their backs. What that mean? That was literally a page out of the book. I don't like it. We could have left that. Let's talk about the Magic Charter books instead. What? Lizard doing push-ups on your porch. It was brown, and the tail and back was a beautiful purple. Oh snap! I don't know if I like that. Well, let's see. It doesn't necessarily have to be all day, right? But that was the thing. If it's just a page out of the book, like the Book of the Dead, bleeding sounds scary. The Rising Dead with weapons approaching them sounds scary. But we don't know the full story. And that's why I feel like with the page out of the book, it was that clouds energy. Because we don't know. It was either that or it's like we know, it's like we're going to be given as much information about something as we can handle. So it's not the entirety of the book, but it's a page of it. Is he holding a book? Does that look like a book to you? Is that a book? I should have just been like 514 is not a page. I'm just like, but also so it's almost like because she said the Book of the Dead was reacting to the many deaths in that area. So maybe it's like if there was something that was missing with the star, with the hermit not being able to, the Hierophant, sorry, with the Hierophant not being able to necessarily communicate accurately and properly what is happening in this far off constellation because the star is a far removed energy, like the sun, but the sun is close enough that we at least feel its warmth, right? But it is some distance away. It's like there was a disconnect between what we know of an experience and what life is. It's like what we know of life and what life is actually like in the system of that distant star. But it's almost like as the energy comes closer, the pages of that book, it's like it writes itself in a way because it's so close. It's a weak spot. It can bleed through. Now, with this Empress and the Three of Pentacles, it feels like it's gap filling. I mean, the Empress is abundance, but she's out in the middle of this water. There's also a similar, like, there's land up there and the water down here. So it feels like it is about being a bridge, but again, I don't know. I already knew that I wouldn't understand anything based on the cards I got from the Mystical Shaman Oracle cards and based on the cards I was getting from the Tarot Dream. But I was like, oh, I'll go live anyway. We'll see. We'll see if I can make some sense out of any of this. Don't know if that's going to happen. And then I have the Diceology cards because why not? Excuse me. And there's the yawn. The yawn is back. Okay. That also makes me think of the other winds in Ursula K. Le Guin, Wizards of Earthsea, and how it was like the price of magic was the loss of, oh, I don't want to spoil it, but for the wizards to have their power, it came with a cost. It came with a cost that in some way sundered worlds apart. The Eight of Hearts in reverse, an explosive vision, a nurturing light and burning passion, with the Four of Diamonds dawned before the first day of a new world, and old earth passed away in a breathtaking sight, upright. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see. So since I love Bixby, I love Bixby for the sound effects. I love Siri for everything else. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Ooh, I got 2 sets of cards. I got 3 over here, and I have 3 over here. I don't know how long I'm going to be live because my dad did say that he wanted to go get ice cream. So we're going to have Siri flip a coin and Bixby. Sorry, we're going to have Bixby flip a coin. And then we'll see. Hi, Bixby. Flip a coin, please. Flip a coin.
All right. It came up tails.
Bixby always says tails. Literally, what, 4? No, 5? 4 out of 4 or 5 out of 5 times I've asked Bixby to flip a coin, it's been tails. Every single time. And it's the cards that it's not even any Lenormand. I was like, oh, I'm gonna use my Lenormand cards because I haven't used them in a while. What are you talking about? Oh, the lighting. Oh, it's dark outside. Like it's nighttime. Oh, it must be about to like storm. Do you need to go to the store? Would you be, I don't know. I ain't trying to put nothing out there. I'm gonna start with the Tarot of Dreams. I can already feel my head starting to hurt. Like my brain is gonna melt. Just attempting to let me stop. Let me be an open and clear channel. Let's breathe. Okay. So 2 cards fell out pretty quickly. Is this whole deck in reverse? The whole deck is in reverse. And it's the 5 of water and the 7 of fire. And then we have the 4 of fire here. The 4 of fire is interesting because it makes me think of the owl in the Mystical Shaman Oracle cards, or the energy that the owl is carrying right now. as the individual who, like, when they put on the hood, they become the owl, and when they take it off, they're somebody with the owl cloak. Because, like, look at it. It has like this bird themed hood cloak thing. Hola, Holly. How are you doing? And it feels like these two energies are in waiting. Like they're waiting to be tapped into, they're waiting to be discovered. And it feels like this hawk eye sharpshooter knows exactly how to find them. What's too many? Eight of Cups. This high key makes me think of Eve's collective reading. Maybe it's because of the fish. But it's almost like it can be really easy to look up and out instead of within. But honestly, it feels like this. Oh my gosh, please. Please. Like, it feels like we're coming to reach this point, and this is like some internal space. It could be a child, like an inner child that's been like submerged under in like some waters that aren't necessarily easy to tread emotionally. But there's something even like deeper than that. Like this would be the Pisces, this would be the Scorpio. And I guess this would be the Cancer. There's that Nine of Wands again. Speaking of Scorpio, Death and the Nine of Wands. Where'd you go? It flipped over inside the deck. Here it is. I'll see. I'll pull the cards before and after the Nine of Wands. Bottom of the deck is the King of Pentacles. So behind the Nine of Wands is the Hermit. In front is the Magician. Wasn't that about the ice and snow in the book? It wasn't snow wet. Oh, snap. I'm so far in over my head. I don't know how to communicate it. And I feel like there are all these like pieces coming to my brain, and I'm like, I get it, but I don't. So these two together, it could almost be, it's like when we focus so much on our external circumstance and we focus on like the things that we want to, it's like the stuff that we didn't like that we've experienced. Like this is a very earthy focus here, but it doesn't necessarily see or focus as much on the things within the self that it wants to see change. It's like, I want to move, I want to relocate, I want a different partner, or I want a partner, I want a different job, or I want a job. It's like all of these things that I wish to experience, but it isn't necessarily like this is the person that I want to be, like this is what I want to feel, this is what I want connections to feel and look like. It is, but even if it's like some of that, it feels like it's more external. And so it feels like when we go inside, like this is the limit of where we go. But it feels like there's all of this that still lies beneath that. And so it's like every time we go inside, we Eight of Cups, we release, we walk away, we move on. It's almost like we dig our well deeper and deeper and deeper, but there's someone, some aspect below that almost looks up at us every time we go down. But since it's so dark or whatever, like we don't see what's on the other side. At first, like this is one part, but then it's like these lights are the same, but the magician knows how to like move and direct and reshape and reform that light. And so it's almost like, I don't want to say elevated, because there is the part of the journey that's about like sort of like navigating the internal, finding that light or whatever. But on the other side, the word manipulate comes to mind, but it's not like, I don't like the context. and the connotations. I don't like the connotations that manipulate can have. But it makes me think of this show that I was just watching, and there's a character with basically an infinite supply of mana to cast magic with, but his magical pool is so big that like anytime he tries to cast a spell, it explodes. So he thought he was just really bad at magic, but it's like his supply is so much that it's basically he can't control it. And so it just like it fizzles, booms, it spills over. And so he's learning like to control it. And he's like, there's this spell to cast light, and he casts light in these different shapes. And the other character is like, oh my gosh, I didn't know you could do that. And he was like, yeah, like I've been learning control and now I can do that. And the other ones that are better at magic, um, like they can cast a spell to create a ball of glowing light, but now they have to learn how to like get it to change shape. And he was like, he was like, think of it like making certain parts of it dark instead of like trying to whatever. But anyway, like that part of it comes to my mind because it's like these lights feel like they're the same, but the magician can turn the light, like he can make it change shapes, and the hermit just like has it in its lantern. Again, it's like there's an energy, it's like how things can do so much more than we think because all this time we've had but a page in the book. And it's the more we get, like the closer we get to this energy, then it's like there's a blank book, but only one page has writing on it. The rest of the book is blank, right? The closer we get to this energy, it's like the pages of the book fill themselves. And that would be like this tapped into it. But when we stop here, this is as much we get to know. So again, that plays into the Hierophant, the the Hierophant, the Knight of Coins, and the Nine of Swords. It's like the limitations of our experience or what we sort of experience as a possibility dictates how we interact with energy, and it dictates our perceived limitations and applications of that energy. But if we allow the energy to speak for itself, we know a lot more. And so that's why this is coming out as feeling like even when we go through internal transformations and healing and stuff, it feels like it's always externally motivated. But maybe it's just because of that sort of framework. It's like we don't, we do in general, more collectively. It's like we don't sort of go to the energy. It's always like a what can be done for me type of thing rather than just like tell me about yourself. And then the energy is like, oh, I can do this, I can do that, I can be this, I can be anything. Makes you think of the Page of Wands in any particular deck? Because I have a few. Then let's pull one of these, I guess. The Four of Hearts, it came out in reverse. A depth of materialization, a murky mind or will, and clouded vision. Oh, in general? Okay. That's like, this is perfectly. Adept at materialization. It's almost like it's not easy to become a master because as humans, we are so in our 3D experience. But it's like we can become really good at like manifesting or whatever. But it's like taking the energy beyond that. Maybe not. The King of Pentacles is here. And it's like it's easiest to aim for becoming a King of Pentacles. And the thing about Pentacles is that's the air, the fire, and the water working together to grow the pinnacle for the sake of abundance and the expansion of one's material wealth or the ease of one's physical real life lived experience. Who do I have over here? I got the Angel Tarot right here because I'm like, this is such an interesting illustration. I've used this deck a lot, you can tell. This is so interesting. But it makes me think of the capital I versus the EYE. Because in that, there was a part of like, if we can understand the elements as like themselves and as each other, if we take all of that understanding and we zoom out, we can begin to see the energy that predates not predates the energy that precedes the elemental form. We begin to be able to perceive energy as like pure raw energy, and it feels like the magician is the one that works with pure raw energy because the elements are still on the table, like it's already mastered that, which makes me think of the four of pentacles is here. Four of coins again. The four of pentacles was actually in this deck somewhere. It was like at the bottom of the deck when I was shuffling cards or something. And it makes me think of the four of pentacles in the Spirit Keeper's Tarot and how the nine of pentacles came out as the shortcut recently on top of death, which is here. It's like this is the typical path that we sort of take to get through these five of pentacles, like rough emotions, emotional hard times. But beyond that, on the other side is this. But in the Vitruvian SKT, it was all about learning to like master the elements and finding out that play between the elements. In the Revelations SKT, it was like that was this smaller thing. We see the same conservator, but now on the ceiling we see painted like the angels or whatever, the masters, the enlightened ones. And they were observing that. And then with that 4-on-4 and the Nine of Pentacles with the ace being on the ground, it feels like um it feels like learning to bend energy. Like if this were, it's like being the Avatar and Avatar: The Last Airbender. Like reaching that Avatar state. but the avatar state being more than just connecting to like previous avatars. And I mean, I guess it is more than just that. Because like it feels like that's what this magician does. Like the magician works with light or with energy itself before it's even manifested as an element. I don't think I'm going to use the deck though. I don't think that's too surprising, Holly. It would make a lot of sense. So who's this? Could that be us being too focused on a single thing that we miss out on everything around it? And I have two arrow cards. Is that the arrow that pierces the heavens and breaks the clouds? It would be like this one carries more like piercing the heavens, breaking the clouds energy. But then there's also the one of like forced pliability, a fixed vision, and it's what an arrow that swims through the air, forced pliability, and a fixed vision in a volatile space or a volatile. It's I think it's a fixed vision in a volatile space. This is interesting. I keep looking at the card under this four of fire. And I'm just like, ooh, it's number 15. Abundance. Oh my gosh, I'm low key kind of shook. This is 415. That's the page in the book that I read because there wasn't a 514. 415 at the bottom of the deck. I was like, I keep looking at this. Well, I was looking at it because of the girl and the dragon. I'm just like, oof. No, I can't. But that's 415. That's low key kind of wild. I'm high key shook. It's fine. um, and then it was the Book of the Dead, and death is right here. It's the cards. It's all the cards in synchronicity. I'm just a dude, literally on my bed, literally pulling cards. Paper and ink. That's all I am. Paper and ink and flesh and bone. Um, okay. I guess I got there mostly. Didn't think I would be able to. And see, it's like with this five of water, it's like again in all of our processes, it's almost like we tap into that source just enough to get where we want to go, just enough to like get to the other side, just enough to change a certain circumstance. And I feel like that's perfectly fine. And honestly, it's not like, especially if we find ourselves in a rough spot in life, it's not really until we get out of that spot that we have the capacity to look at much more, you know? Like if there's a very immediate need and like a need that needs to be addressed or a concern that needs to be like, resolved, then of course it's like, you know. And so maybe it's like we take pages out of that book. Like the book is all that we have the ability to access. But it's like when we encounter a situation, we take a page. Hola, Cheney. Excuse me, how are you? So let's look at her. I feel like this is like literally, it's is it dark matter consciousness? That's a Eve and Reem question. That's an Eve and Reem thing. See, but that dark matter consciousness type of energy again, it feels like it's very like understanding energy before it's even manifested as an element, before it's even elemental, when it's still like more pure, almost like a stem cell, I guess. Somebody said something was like a stem cell. I feel like it was Holly. I feel like Holly mentioned stem cells recently. Golden Shadow territory, that's beyond me. I watched Reem talk about it, and she said that there was something where Rob shared an article with her, and I was like kind of there, but also like, wait. But if you look at it, it does look very Golden Shadow. Um, which is interesting because it feels like we would think that this is it. Like he's like it's the hermit, he's in the dark with a light. But like that's not even scratching the surface. It feels like that's still here when all of this is like down here. And maybe with the 9 of Wands being here, going back to your Jaguar, maybe beyond that point is guarded. I think Reem, I don't know if it was the Crow of the Akashics, but I think in one of the 4 crows, Reem said, I think it might have been the Crow of the Akashics, like the crow was a guardian of that energy or something like that. I almost grabbed the Angelarium year twos, and I wish I did because that makes me think of Fanuel, but also no Fanuel, because I think in the year 2 it's like Fanuel waits at the throne, the angel of truth, and it waits to give you a cloak, and that cloak makes me think of Semyaza. That was the whole like Fanuel Semyaza, 'Semyaza' thing. That was a thing. And it feels like, again, like every time we go through like a healing phase or process, or every time we manifest, anytime our spirituality interacts with the material physicality, it feels like we're approaching that space. But again, like, this is illustrated to make it look like she's at the floor of this. But if the light is still penetrating, it's not deep enough. There are parts of the ocean, there are parts of waters that are so deep that light does not penetrate. And again, it's like this is still fairly surface level. But it feels like this is very deep. This is extremely deep for where we were, but for what we're beginning to gain access to, or for where our understanding is going to be able, for where our understanding is going to begin to like take us, we'll realize that it's still the surface, because all of this weight's down there. And that makes me think of the star card in um, the Wild Unknown Tarot. It's a star that rests on a bed of light at the, like, on the floor of the abyss. And I almost pulled that deck, but I didn't. It makes me think of when I was reading the Kamigawa. No. When I was reading the New Capenna packs of magic cards, the waterfront district, it was like there's the abyss at the edge of the water, and in the abyss is light. And I think it was the same Nine of Wands that came out in Eve's collective. It was like, I think the fish might have also come out too, because it was this energy where it's like it's dark, but once you go so far in the dark, you actually hit light. And it was like, what? And that's this energy. It feels like it's on the other side of some, like, it feels like there are these two realms that sort of meet. It's like when you go so far down, you end up, and then it's like gravity flips or whatever, and you end like, and it's like there are a few stories where it's like the bottom of the ocean is the sky of another realm or something like that. It's very much that energy. Well, I hope y'all stay safe in the middle of all that. Is your grandson still with you, Steph? And I think that's the thing about this. It's not the danger of the hermit, but with where we were and for the limitations of our understanding, or the limitations of the applications of the understanding, more generally and broadly and collectively, because it is sort of like hierophant energy. Um, but the hermit, it's like we retreat inside. We go inside and we think that everything sort of happens there. But it's like if you go even further inside with that hermit, you'll find the outside again. And it's at that second interface between the internal and external that we do this. That's when, like, as we go back through the chakras and as we like help the beavers, so that's, I've talked about it before. Um, but it's like if there are blockages on our chakras and there are beavers there, a lot of times what we'll do is like we'll try to break the dams that they build. So, hashtag not everybody, use your own discernment. I'm sure there are wonderful energy healers out there, but at the same time, other people can only do so much for us. So it's like if we feel energetically blocked or whatever, and we go to an energy healer or a Reiki practitioner or whoever, they can energetically go in and break up those dams that stop energy from flowing. But if we don't find the beavers a new home, they'll just come back and build another one. And so that's why, like, it might not be like long lasting, or it might not be a permanent fix, But it's like if we can go to each blockage, learn the beavers, help them find a new home, a better one. If they're happy where they are, they won't come back to build a blockage there. And as we work through and clear all those chakras and help to rehabilitate, is that a word? Those beavers, instead of trying to displace them, because then they'll just come back. Like as we get to the last one, that's where we find the silted up river. And then we follow it back to the wellspring. And it's at that wellspring when we're so far inside that we hit the outside again. That's where we can sort of like really do this. But I think a lot of times we think of it like here. We think of like as soon as you go inside that boundary barrier between the internal and external is where like we really work all that stuff. And like maybe there are some things that you can do. You can do a lot of this there, but you're not necessarily going to be able to do this because you got to go so far inside that you hit the outside again. But when you hit that outside, that's like the all outside. That's like the breath of the universe that connects us all. That's like ether energy instead of it being fire energy, like what we see out of our eyes, fire versus the ether being like the connection between like the self and the all. It's all that. Homes for beavers. Love that. And so this energy, it's been here for a minute, but I feel like it's been kind of elusive. Well, and this is all based upon like my just like 100% transparency. It's based on my understanding of this. I'll do a reading, I'll like think about it for a day, and then I go on and I live my life. I'm like, what am I gonna eat tomorrow? Like, what video am I gonna watch on YouTube to pass the time? What game am I gonna play? Like, how much sleep am I gonna get? You know. But when I saw like the Ace of Cups in the Water Known Tarot is my like wellspring card. That's the point where it's the interface between the self and the spirit, but not necessarily the same interface that's like you and the world around you. It's like if we're talking about that universal everything, that's like where we butt off of the divine. And that's been a thing for a hot minute for me. um every now and then it'll resurface and I'll talk about it, excuse me, in much of the same way that I did now. I'm feeling very attacked right now and it's fine. um because it feels like, again, it feels like anytime we really do something, we tap into that. We take a page out of the book, or we take a paragraph off of a page, or a word off of a word out of a sentence from a paragraph on a page in the entirety of that book. But it feels like it may not be something that we always necessarily stay in. It's like we connect, disconnect, connect, disconnect, connect, disconnect, connect, disconnect. And so it doesn't necessarily have time to fully run through. It makes me think of the magician in the Astro Matrix Tarot. And I have that right here. Oof, I got reversals in here. This is the deck I put reversals in. It's fine. And I give full like disclosure and transparency because like again, that's me. That's a limitation of my understanding because that's how I was exposed to it or how I came about it. Is the magician at the top of this deck? Hello. Hold up, let me look one more time. I didn't see it. Oops. Come on, Nicola. Can someone please tell me where Nicola is? Nicola. Senor Tesla. Am I missing a card in this deck? Hello? Um Kizzy Cat. What if I have two magicians in this deck? I think I have used both of these before. This one's all upright. Okay. Where's my magician? I found one. I'm gonna look to see if the other one is also in this deck because I did not see it in the other one. But I could have just overlooked it, honestly. Nope, there's only one magician. Okay. Excuse me. Well, it's been an hour and a half. So it's like there are these two spires that anchor that coil, that anchor that polarity. And then as the magician raises his wand, that energy transfers to him. So it feels like we raise the wand whenever we do something down here and then we lower it. We raise and lower, raise and lower, raise and lower. So we never necessarily, it's almost like we're not in it long enough to, for our bodies to adapt to the feeling of it. We're not in it long enough to get to learn it and know it like outside of this position. So it becomes very specific and very specialized rather than something that we know well enough that we can freeform, basically. I'll just use the word freeform. Or form freely, like how the magician in this deck could bend the light into the shape of that infinity sign. right? Like it's almost like he's been connected long enough that he doesn't need that established link. He can pull it from the brain melt. Earring. Okay. Who that was? Ace of Swords. There is no hand on this sword. Whenever I look at the Ace of Swords, I like to see where the hand is placed. Well, the crown. There's no crown. I like to see how far the crown is from the hilt because this is where we hold the sword. So if the crown is all the way up here, sometimes I read that as like it's above our heads. Like we have absolutely no idea. If the crown is down here, then it's something a little closer to the hand. Like we have enough context that if this brand new information comes in, we'll have an idea of like how and where it applies, when and why it applies, and how to like work with that information. Bottom of the deck is the Three of Cups, because of course it is. The Three of Cups in the Starman Tarot is that golden cup ascending from the sky. Oh, excuse me. I guess I kind of did it. The resistance was definitely present, but that's fine. Wisdom. Oh, you know what I love about this Wisdom Hermit card? That's the area. Oh, now I gotta find her. Of that Five of Wands. As I was talking about, when we hermit back to the chakras and we see that silted up river, and then we notice the wellspring. She's back there. Through here. But I don't know if he necessarily is going to notice, because that's not where his attention is. And that's why it's like, and I just saw that card too. It's literally right here, still at the bottom. That's why it's like we can't always be so super hyper focused, because if he doesn't notice that, he completely misses out on all that energy. But again, that's the thing. It's like whenever we are faced with something in life, understandably, we seek solutions, sometimes specific solutions. And it's like, I don't have time to talk about why you think roses are so cool. I'm here to like get some food to put in my belly because I'm starving. Like, I can talk to you about roses some other time. Are the roses like in trouble? Are they dying? No. Okay. Well, let me get some food in my belly. And it's like, let me do this, and then let me do that, and then let me do the other thing. In reverse, the Eight of Swords, the Eight of Air. Oh, with the Sage at the bottom. I love that the Sage is here. Because the Sage is the one, see, he's got this staff with the magical fire. The Sorry. I know that was extra like dramatic because I was like, it feels like he's the one that walked through. He's got that magical fire with nature. He's in that space. He knows how to work that light like the magician does. And then, literally, right behind it at the bottom of the deck is wisdom. He's taken the hood off. He's in there now. Thank you. Literally at the bottom of the deck. Love that. And then the King of Fire is behind that. With the Queen of Water. King and Queen of Fire of Water. King of Fire, Queen of Water. Masculine, feminine energy together. He's very tapped into that space. Very tapped in. Awesome. This is the Eight of Air in reverse, by the way. With this in reverse, the sword is being pulled out of the hand. Excuse? Is that this guy's like higher self or something? Do they not look similar? Do they not look similar? This dude is like on the journey of all journeys. Like first he took off the cape and now he's facing like this person. Okay. Well, I guess I shouldn't be surprised because he's picked up some guides along the way that'll navigate him in this new dark space towards this, which is still like in the cosmos. But now it's in the heavens in the cosmos instead of it being like on Earth through this cave. Again, not surprising because that's where she comes from. So there's the dark, and remember how the King of Fire was behind that? Now that third eye lit. It's like, oof. Okay. Okay. That's intense. All right. I guess I'm glad I used this deck because that was definitely like, wait. Anytime I think that using this deck is a good idea, I'm like, I have to be like open. Like it pushes me because I'm like, I don't immediately understand this. Or it's like, I'll get it, but I'm like, I don't know how to communicate this. I don't know how to put these pieces together. And it's like, well, if you start assembling the pieces, girl, like you'll see the bigger picture. Can't just look at all the pieces on the table and be like, I don't get it. It's like, yeah, you don't get it because you didn't put it together yet. Call me out. It's fine. An immediately met request, a land where all seasons reside, and a return to center. That return to center, the capital I. A school of glimmering fish spotlight a sunken treasure, the rising of a new continent. The school. This card immediately popped into my mind when I saw that Five of Water, because it was the fish and then the rays of light, the school of glimmering fish that spotlighted sunken treasure. But the sunken treasure was just some sad girl, some sad mermaid. That wasn't the sunken treasure. The sunken treasure was that Four of Fire under it. It's like, oof. It's like sunken treasure that you still have to dig for. It's like what, like when we think sunken treasure, it's just like at the bottom of the ocean, the treasure chest is on top of the earth. We wouldn't think that we have to dig below the ocean floor to get the treasure. Like, what? It's like, yeah, you got to actually dig below that to get it. So it wasn't a lie. Like on the map, this is where the X is. It's like, yes. I would love a one card from these. I'm still going to put these away. It's not for me to go. Thank you all for being here. This was definitely. Oh, I got to take it. Ha! The clouds. I had to take it because the clouds, right? But this is the clouds in this deck. The clouds came out in the other deck. Here you can see the dragon. And the fish. There's our fish. Again. And then the ring. 677. The dragon, the fish, and the ring. Or the clouds, sorry. The clouds, the fish, and the ring. The clouds and the fish, this feels like a very roundabout sort of energy. It's like being in the flow, but it's a flow that's not direct. Like it doesn't, it's like it's taking you in the direction, but it's very easy to feel misled or misguided or lost. But it feels like the path itself, like if you feel like you're going in circles, like that's forming the ring. It's forming some kind of pact or some kind of bond. It's proving to the Nine of Wands, the person that gatekeeps that energy, that like, it's all a part of the test. Oh, look, there's the lady again. The lady in the ship. The lady, that was the lady with the birds and the clock. Like it was like, oh, the lady is like coming back and like time is starting because it was missing a clock face. The ship is that movement. The lady was that girl in the abyss that was waiting. Well, there were two ladies. We thought that first lady was the lady. She was just Sad Mermaid. Sad Mermaid is not the lady. Where's this box? Where's this box? It should be here. I thought it was here. It is. No problem. Thank you, Eve. It all started with the question of whether or not you believe in magic. And sometimes it's like it's going back to the Jaguar. It's like sometimes it isn't whether or not you believe. Sometimes it is. Like step one is like, do you believe in magic? Step two is like, what are the limitations of your belief in magic? AKA, what do you think magic is capable of? Because the limitations of what we believe are the limitations of the capabilities of magic may be the capabilities the magic that we perform, but it could be more. If that makes any sense. My brain is out. I don't know how to communicate it. No problem. Has it? It hasn't been 3 weeks yet, has it? Is this the third week? No, because that was the beginning of the end. That was the beginning of the end. Okay. Oop, there we go. Oh, we got. Oh, it's two cards we've seen before. The bottom of the deck is the mask, question mark. It's this card, whatever the freak this is. See, but this, again, it makes me think of that third path energy. It's like you can choose the path of the sun or the path of the moon. Going back to the crossroads that came out, the crossroads that loves to come out. There's the path of the sun or the path of the moon. And when we're presented with this, we think we have to choose either left or right, but there is a third path, and it's right to the top. This is the third option. But it's almost like it requires something of us to be able to take it. Because it's almost like otherwise, number one, we wouldn't see it, or if our security papers don't clear or whatever, then that path won't be made available. Like this is the shortcut, but the shortcut isn't a shortcut because it's almost like there is no path. It's the path of creating the path, basically. The cards that flipped over, it's the tree again with our tree of life. That could be the Yggdrasil, and then the letter. This tree makes me think of the sorcerer card in the mystical shaman oracle cards because of the rainbow. Because the sorcerer like has the rainbow and then the muted rainbow is behind her face. This feels ancestral because it does. Oh my gosh! The Seven of Hearts and the Seven of Spades. What? Look at that. Seven of Hearts, Seven of Spades. Yeah, that's definitely Semyaza, Angel of Pride, because we see the initials of the artist, CM, for Cyril Marchetti or whatever. I hate how I say or whatever sometimes. I feel like it sounds super dismissive when I say or whatever, but I don't mean it that way. That's just how it comes out. I'm a Pisces sun, but my moon is in Taurus, and my Saturn is in Aquarius, and Saturn is my guiding planet. So sometimes it might sound a little colder than it actually is. Oof. Well, maybe not oof. Here's another hermit. And the stars, maybe. I don't know. You decide. Where's that hermit? That makes me think of the Mountains of Pain, which makes me think of page 415 with the line that was approaching them holding the bows and arrows and stuff like that. And it was also interesting. Let me go back to 415 and read that again. Because I did catch that, but I didn't catch it, if you know what I mean. At the end where it said, shapes dark against the snow were moving in an extended line towards them at a deliberate, steady pace. They carried bows and spears, and Sabriel, at least, recognized the rifles slung across their backs. It feels like whoever Touchstone is, again, this is literally a page from the book, but it feels like there's like a time gap. And so what one person would recognize, it's like one person would recognize bows and spears, but the more modern individual would recognize the rifle slung across their backs because they would know what a rifle is, right? And so it's like there could be lightsabers or laser guns or whatever. Like there could be more modern, like futuristic weaponry that hasn't been developed yet. So our brains wouldn't be able to comprehend or understand or recognize the fact that they're there. So there's just like a temporal element. It's like where you are or what you know as history is like what you would see type of energy. It's just that. I don't know how to communicate it in any way other than that. The Mask. I haven't seen that movie in a hot minute. Wasn't there like a Son of the Mask? I don't even know if I watched that one. Hey, there's the Three of Pentacles again. With the King of Cups this time. All right, Dolly. Dolly Pardon. In reverse, but we'll flip them up right. La Estrella and El Juicio. The Star and Judgment. Interesting that the Star is here again. Bottom of the deck is the Two of Cups. This is interesting because we had the Nine of Swords before. Right, the Nine of Swords, the person racked with anxiety in the bed with the sword sort of behind them. Now we have the individual lying in the bed. It feels like this person is the angel. I don't know if like they're like asleep and they're dreaming, so they're astrally projecting. They are that angel. So now with this star card, they can go to that realm. They have the opportunity to go to that place and experience the truth of it in its entirety rather than like theorizing and hypothesizing what it's like based on what we know, because that was where the Hierophant fell short. It's like it was too rooted, too grounded in its own experience and what it knew or believed of the world and spirit and stuff like that. But here in the energy of this judgment, like this individual gains wings to go and see for itself. So, with all that being said, thank you so much for being here. I hope you have an amazing whenever you see this, and I hope you're acting in alignment to make all that you wish to experience your reality. And I hope that whatever you need along your path, journey, and way, you find in the way that you need it. AKA, I hope it makes sense when you find it. So, I will catch you all in the next one, and that was something. Bye.